Ain't he on camera looking like his son though?
No, no, his son is crackish. He just is. That's a whole. That's not crackish.
He's funny. I've actually watched him.
He's like senile. Like he's
crackish.
He's
oh my God.
Not saying he a crackhead, just very crackish.
Crackish. That's the term.
Yeah, I don't know.
But no, it is all entertainment.
Mm.
This is what we talking about.
Because what's going on? What's really going on?
We here doing the funnies.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this is the funnies. Like we can get political. We can have these conversations and things like that. I do but at the end of the day, I'm here to laugh.
Right.
Like that's at the end of the day.
You know,
but I will say, you know, there's a lot of stuff coming out about both these guys. And one of the questions I did want to bring up, just because these are the past two presidents, one current and one previous.
Damn it.
Where are we at? America. Like, come on now. Like, how dumb do we look to the rest of the world?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, how, you know, you look at it. I kind of almost feel like the same way when we hire, or not hire, it's kind of is hiring. That was kind of a, what do you call it? A Freudian slip. Freudian slip is what they call it. It's something you meant to say, but you shouldn't have said.
That's new for me.
Because they do hire them. It's almost like we really don't be voting for them. You're getting hired. It's like you're applying for a job.
Right.
But like I feel like the same way we keep having like celebrities being in these positions. Like I felt like they with Arnold, you know, when he was the governor and stuff like that. And I feel like we just running a circus here. You know what? I feel like we get laughed at.
One that I thought did well,
the way we run shit.
Kevin Johnson.
Yeah,
I felt like he did good though. You know, as
far
as a celebrity,
examples. There's examples. Even Jesse Ventura when he in Minnesota, he did a good job at that state. So it's not like he can't.
Right.
But I think we just have such a angst to want to have celebrities and stuff like that in these political positions or these high power positions because they're well liked. Especially like I said there's the one guy I feel like he would, if he ran for president, he would win against any political case. You can put the best political person and they would lose easily. If The Rock ran for president, he's winning. He's winning. He is the most I don't know if I know many celebrities that's liked by both sides of the aisle as much as The Rock. Whether you Democrat or Republican, like who don't like The Rock?
Right.
Like honestly.
Could you imagine Russia and China? Like all of a sudden The Rock's like, don't launch those missiles. He does the eye thing, and like, bro, they would just be like, they would not do anything, bro. They would halt.
This fool just offended somebody in Korea.
Support China. Oh my God, they would not, bro. They would. Country be scared of us. If we had The Rock as the president, oh my God, that would be crazy. I mean, I think a country just look at us like you said it best, Rob. Like I think it was like three shows ago when you said basically we it's already over. It is. It's over. All it is we're just voting for time. We're voting for a diplomat. That's it. We're voting for a diplomat. We're voting for, you know, when it comes to culture, politics, and like our local laws, you know, we're voting just for either a Republican or a Democrat, and that's it, and a good diplomat. That's all we're voting for now. And Joe's just up there to just smile and read off the teleprompter. That's it.
He said, what you want me to do? He said, you want me to smile at you? You want me to shine the shoes?
But that's all it's for, man. So other countries look at us and they're just like, I mean, I think they do see us as a joke. You know what I mean? They see us as a joke. They see us as a country that's depleting. Some of them that know the ultimate plan, especially when you're talking about the European Union and other countries, the goal is for America just to be that strong arm, and that's it until one day America crashes. I mean, this is what's kind of funny. This is in a lot of culture and a lot of religions that one day America will fall. You know what I mean? And it's going to happen one day. And it's because of the fact that we don't realize we've been hijacked. We don't realize that literally we have politicians that do not have America's best interests at heart when it comes to gun rights, when it comes to, you know, geopolitics and how much they tax us. You know what I mean? Like Trump taking us out of the Paris Climate Accord. That was great. You know what I mean? Because we were going to be taxed for, you know, global warming instead of the entire world. You know, China and India have like what? I don't know the exact number. So many people. But
they got the most.
Yeah. Right, but they weren't going to get taxed. It's like crazy. That's like, you know what I mean? So
you know what they need to watch? They need to watch Game of Thrones. Because think about it. No, honestly, if anyone's stay with me for a second. If anybody's watched Game of Thrones, they weren't the biggest, but they had the money. The Lannisters. Who got the money? Who owns the debt? We in debt to who?
China.
So who really running it?
Rothschilds, really, but China.
But that's the point. It's we can play the arms game as you talked about because we do have the military fortitude. Like we have that. That is the one reason why I guess you would say we sit on top. It's because of that.
And there's no hyperinflation. Yeah.
Right, but bro, the money that's gonna come to play, the chickens is gonna come to roost. Eventually, somebody gonna say you need to cash in. Right. Just like if they wanted to call in debt.
Right. China and Russia last month, they dropped the dollar.
That's what happened. What was the last recession? And they called in all that debt. Eventually, it's gonna happen, or they think they're gonna get another bailout because they need America that much. But we are not sitting well as a country as much as we should, because the one thing that I think about how America is, and people make a comparison with, is it worse than somewhere else? Yeah, it probably is. But are you aspiring to be what you preach you are or think you are to the rest of the world? And you're not. You're giving us a diluted product, and we living in it. Imagine this, because right now everything's about branding. I've said this for a long time when it comes down to branding. I don't think nobody cares about making a good product no more. They care about the branding. How good your branding, your marketing. You ain't got to put a good product out there if your marketing is on point.
iPhone.
And your branding is on point.
7, 8, 9, 10. You should have an iPhone that lasts forever.
You don't. You don't. Yeah. But I'm just in general. Just even if Pepsi, Coca-Cola, let's say they and I'm not even gonna say they haven't done it. They could have, but let's just say they cut back a little bit on the quality of the stuff they put in the soda. And I'm not even saying soda's a good nutritional option. It's not. It has no nutritional value. It's a brand.
Right.
Coca-Cola is probably one of the most known brands in America. Let's say they start cutting back on the quality of it. Ain't nobody gonna give a fuck. Coca-Cola's still gonna be number one. It's all about branding. It don't matter about the product anymore. It used to be back in the day. I'll give you the example like Craftsman's tools. It used to be like them motherfuckers last forever.
Okay.
It's not about making the product last a long time. Cars the same way.
Right.
Man, cars used to be able to last 30 years, bro. You buy a fucking 2002 car right now, I bet you it ain't lasting until 2052. Bet you that. It ain't. And the technology's better, but the point is they don't want you to keep a car that's gonna be that's lasting a long time. They want you to be like, nah, you're gonna have that for 5 to 6 years, and we want you to buy another one. Want you to drop it
because that's not a good business model.
It's not.
Yeah,
that's the commerce.
Right.
So we've gone beyond making a good product. The reason why that was such a big thing back in the day is because you were competing against the competition. You wanted to have a better product than the competition because you would get more sales. People would want to buy the stuff that was going to last the longest. It's not about that. They all got together. I don't know, whenever this meeting was with all these companies, they was like, fuck all that. Why are we doing that? We need to make the shit to break down so they buy more. So why are we competing against each other?
Right. Should we competing?
Because they really not, in all honesty. They're really just competing on retention, keeping the amount of customers that they already got. Like, that's why I feel like we're literally in the land of branding. Branding is the biggest thing.
Well, branding, speaking of branding, we had a great guy we talked about a great guy, I guess you could say, who was AKA canceled this week after talking about him last week.
Mr. Tate.
Mr. Andrew Tate himself.
Mr.
Great
Tate.
guy.
Mr.
Great
Tate.
guy.
Great guy. You met him?
No, not at all.
You heard a lot about him.
I heard a lot about him. Great guy.
Seen a lot about
great
him.
Individual. Said a lot of great things. And a lot of great horrible things, too, at the same time.
Hold on. Do you like him, Rob?
No, it's not the fact that you like him or not.
Okay.
It's the fact that sometimes, maybe not everything that you had to listen to, what he said made sense, but he had some good points.
Yeah,
some.
So I think that's
some good points.
I will say this about the whole thing with him, and you could really plug in anybody that's polarizing like him. There's a lot of people out there. I don't think that he should be. I don't think that
I laugh when I
himself
see him.
like
this guy, man.
This dude. Say what he looked like.
Oh, look at Lud. Just look like a penis. Like Jesus Christ. I'm just like, bro, I don't know.
I don't know if I can
People would call him a dick. I would say that.
I can't unsee it now.
The things he says, you're just like, bro, is this a movie right now? This is like if you were to look up in the dictionary the word narcissism, it would show his face next to it. Like I'm just like, how do you say that shit? Like I remember the first thing I saw from him, he was like, look, listen. So when I'm talking about something, and you have to realize my brain is 10 times more advanced than the average brain. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, what the?
You know what he is? You know what he is?
No,
all honesty, he's probably an unleashed, better fit version of Ben Shapiro.
Really?
Like if Ben really had the leash taken off of him, this is what he'd be saying.
But Ben talks so much faster. But
you think so?
Yeah,
I think they both be speaking real fast. Like that's like the point is quick.
Yeah, he does make quick points, but I'm just like, Lord.
But just speaking about the man in general, like, and I think this goes with a lot of polarizing figures. I think the attack though on the men that are speaking up, I think that's the problem. And I think that is the issue. I don't really care that it's him. I don't care if it's Andrew Tate. I don't care if it's Kevin Samuels. I don't care if it's any of these guys that have kind of maybe stepped out,
right?
You know, went on that thin branch and said, "No,
you know what,
this is my voice. This is what I feel like is going on, and I'm gonna speak it. Whether you agree to it is irrelevant. What I will say is this: it's necessary. You got the View, and you got him.
Right.
That's both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah,
you need the View.
Okay,
those are the most ridiculous women on the planet,
except for Whoopi. Whoopi be trying to keep it on point, but they be.
I don't like Whoopi either. She's just.
I like Whoopi.
Way too much. She's so anti-gun. I can't stand her. Oh my god.
I can't stand y'all.
Bro, she fucking. Bro, this nigga. I don't know, man. This Andrew Tate nigga. But I will say this, man. Again, even though I do not like him, and I like some of the stuff he says, I'm like, okay, that's a good point. But 80% of him I don't like, and so I still think it's completely wrong. Just like they did. There's so many people you can hate. You can hate, Donald Trump. You can hate. Alex Jones, you know what I mean? For all these people that got banned, I don't think you should ever ban someone from saying something no matter what they say. I don't think you should. I just didn't. Like, let the KKK say what they want. I want to know so other people can see how stupid they look. You know what I mean? If they're saying something that's so wrong, yes, let the world hear it. Don't censor them. The hell? We want to know what they're saying because I'm telling you right now, especially with the Alex Jones situation, if they would have censored him earlier, guess what? He wouldn't be paying, $45-50 million to those families. You know what I mean? That he hurt over the,
I play devil's advocate though. I'm not saying I don't disagree because I actually agree 100%, but I'll just play devil's advocate just to play it out. Let's say one of these guys, Trump, Alex Jones, Andrew Tate, anybody, doesn't matter who it is, says something, but it's so demonstrative though it causes death.
Kind of like a doxing?
What do you mean?
But like death.
Like he rallies the troops.
Right.
I mean,
so there at what point, so is there a line in which that, because you said say anything.
Yeah.
So like you gave the example of the KKK. Let's just call it, and they should be able to say and have a platform and say whatever they want to say. I agree. I think they should be out there so you can see how stupid it is. The problem is at what point, what line is drawn if they then get enough people, because we know in this country there's a lot of people who subscribe to the KKK, and at what point do you give them a voice where it gets so big to the point where they get a following, in which when you got a following, that means you got some power. And when you got some power, then you feel like you can take action. And when you take action, people get hurt. So then what happens when some black folks get lynched? Now what? Now are we saying...
It shouldn't have gone that far, and this is why. Because I believe in the values of America in terms of the First Amendment. Like, we have freedom of speech, regardless. Doesn't matter what you say. So, yes, I still think they should be able to do that. Why? It shouldn't have got that far. We just had the Patriot Act passed because of what happened during 9/11. Like, absolutely, let them say that. Let them talk about lynching blacks. Why? We should have a department that stops that immediately and goes straight to that house and stops them before it happens. That's what we were supposed to have the department for.
That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out.
What's the difference?
I'm sorry, that's a cop-out, because you're now trying to basically base it on the fact that they're being watched. You don't know what's going on in someone's human brain. The Patriot Act only covers what they do on their devices.
But that would happen whether they had the platform or not. They would go and tell people and secretly make a site where they would be even more radical, and we wouldn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, but at the same time, but being on a platform like that widens the net.
That could be what?
It widens the net.
Oh no, what were you gonna say?
I said that could already be going on now. What you're saying?
Yeah, true that.
But I mean, like, what's the difference from what you're saying from censoring them? I mean, you're letting them say what they got to say, and then a team goes out and they stop them. Like, what's the difference?
I mean, what do you mean there was a difference? Like,
I mean, because you're saying they should have the freedom of speech to say whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
say whatever.
But if you look at Facebook, they censor a lot of different groups.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I don't think they should.
I mean, if you censor them from the jump, like Facebook is doing, and you're saying there's like a special team that should go out and stop them from.
Not that should. There is this team out there that does that.
But what's the difference though? So I mean, why create a special team when you could stop it like how Facebook does it? You know what I'm saying?
So
No,
you're talking about trying to stop the result or the catastrophe that's coming from it. What we're talking about is the censorship of the social media. I get what you're saying about the censorship. I don't like censorship. I really don't. I don't like cancellation. I don't like it. But it is a hard argument.
To what extent though?
And that's the point. That's the reason why I wanted to play
Maybe
devil's advocate.
where it causes bodily harm.
But that's the thing,
But
though.
it's like-
but at that what point you're drawing the line at some point, and then who's controlling drawing the line? Because I'll give you a perfect example. We've talked about this privately. There's organizations out there that think it's okay to have sex with kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Our
organizations out there. So
government.
are you cool with them having the platform and being on Facebook and being on YouTube and being able to open up a platform and have their
Great
being able to speak
Great
about it
question.
and openly and not be shut down? Because I the fuck don't.
Answer that, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I still do. Like, it depends on how it's put out there. Like, they can't be posting pictures, they can't be doing shit like that. But if they're like, hey, I have a problem where I do this,
No. You're adding stuff to it. You're adding stuff to it. You got to keep it clear. We ain't saying they got a problem. You trying to add stuff to it to justify your point. Stop doing that. Stay on topic. Don't try to add that on. The fact is, they talk. Let's say it. Let's call it what it is.
Bunch of R. Kellys.
They out there doing what they doing and saying it. Don't say they got a problem because now you trying to sympathize and empathize. No, take that away. This is what they doing. You believe that they should have a platform, a free platform, to be able to distribute their content. To motivate and recruit.
Not distribute the content, but they should be stopped. Like, something should happen to where they get criminal charges. Like, they get stopped criminal charges right there and then.
But it's not a criminal charge. Them saying that that's how they feel, it just
freedom of speech
in the public is not against the law. It's no different than what he's saying. It's not against the law.
So wait. Are they speaking about actual facts of them taking advantage of kids? Because then now can't we just bring can't we bring the whole RICO situation involved?
No. The real the reason why we're kind of going off the rails. But I was using it as an example. Right. But there's the organizations out there that do believe that. They believe that there should not be no age restriction. And what I'm saying is, whatever the motherfucking building these niggas live in should be blown the fuck up.
Yeah, they have a website where they talk about all this stuff,
and they should not have Facebook access, and they should not. I don't give, and that's my own personal preference, and that's maybe the reason why I'm not running a country and I'm not running nothing. But this is just Rob speaking. I don't believe that that's the case because I believe that type of behavior is the worst behavior that you can participate in on this planet. Worse than murder. We talked about this.
True.
So that's my opinion, and that's how I feel about it. But at the same time, what I'm saying is I'm using that as the example. At what line is it? Because at the end of the day, if we're just talking about, okay, it needs to be an open platform, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you got, you should be able to go on there and say whatever you want to say no matter what and not be shut down or banned. And you're letting the market, which is the audience, dictate whether you are monetized or well-liked or viewed or whatever the case may be. I'll be honest with you. I would be hypocritical and I'd be lying in saying that cannot apply to everybody. Right. And so because of that creates this problem that we're in right now. Now we're picking and choosing where people fall under that line. Because if they don't want you there, you gone. Just like him. I don't really, in his situation, a lot of his videos get taken out of context.
What was the exact phrase that got him banned?
It was a combination of things. So basically, from what I was reading about it, he doesn't even really put any content out there. It's other people. They clip his stuff and then they add their own narrative to it, and then that's what gets put out in social media. So then somebody sees that, listens to it, and they're like, "Oh, this is what he's pushing. He's pushing hate. He's pushing, misogyny, whatever the case may be. Whatever it is, that's what they'll say, and that's what they report to YouTube or they report to Instagram, and then because of their bylaws that they have, the community guidelines, they said that they're violating this.
Okay.
That's what's happening.
I want to ask this question here, and I'm gonna go around the room because obviously this is the big question. Freedom of speech. He said a lot of things that could be definitely misogynist and against what I believe it 100%. Once again, I want to get down to the gritty grind. Do you feel like his show, all his accounts, should be canceled based upon him speaking his outside of his mind?
No.
No?
Andrew Tate?
Yes, no. Andrew Tate.
No.
Because I don't. Because and the reason why is because, and like I said, I use an extreme example of what I laid out.
You did.
Yeah, it was huge.
I'm in no way, shape, or form comparing him to that. Okay. But I was using it as an example. What he has said to me has not justified why he should be banned. Just don't listen to him. It's the same thing with Kevin Samuels. If you didn't agree with what that man was saying, or you didn't like what he said, how he said it, his tone, whatever the case may be, if you didn't like it, don't tune in.
Right.
Don't watch it. Because I don't think what he's saying is so demonstrative that it's, I guess you would say tyrannical amongst society. That I don't believe that.
Broke out the big words there, huh?
It doesn't infringe on somebody else's rights.
Tyrannical, huh?
And it doesn't have too much of effect. Now, it could have a mental effect on someone as far as how they feel, like do they feel sad about it? Okay. But it's a different thing when, that's why I say that's different than, I understand why they shut down Trump's Twitter account, because you ignited people to go attack the goddamn state capitol.
Yeah, my bad.
So it's like, in that type of situation, it's like, yeah, I get it. I don't like censorship. I don't like cancellation. I don't like banning. But bruh, you got people that could have got hurt.
Right.
And some people did get hurt in that situation.
Two died.
And you ignited that. And them 2 deaths is on you. They're on Trump. That's on you.
Right.
I know you didn't do it.
Physically.
And indirectly,
you
had an effect on that. And so I can understand the response of them saying, nah, you got too much of a like, imagine this. We just talked about it with The Rock. We just talked about it. The most well-liked man. What if he just started talking crazy? I could see them be like, The Rock, we got to cancel. We got to shut you off of Instagram. You got too much of a following. There's too many people that follow you and like you.
Right.
So there does come a point, and Tony, this is the one thing I do agree with you when it comes down to America and why other countries don't like us, is because this country can create institutions, organizations, and people to be bigger than the country that they're in. These people are so international across the board.
Right.
They get so powerful that you are bigger than the own country that you're supposed to represent. Like The Rock. He could say F America forever.
Right.
And ain't nobody gonna give a damn. Because he is so popular and well liked that there's no more insulation anymore. You can't control him. So that's the reason why other countries don't like what we do, because we can get bigger than that. We're uncontrollable. You can't contain.
I think that happens in other countries too, though.
But I think with us it's more because we have that.
Look at what other country.
I mean, you look at Cristiano Ronaldo. He's bigger than.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean? He's from Portugal. You look at Messi. He's from Argentina. I mean, you look at their following. Like, these dudes have millions of followers. You know what I mean? They're pretty much bigger than the country they represent, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it happens in other countries as well. So, but I get what you're saying, Rob.
I do get what you're saying. It shouldn't be canceled over just the freedom of speech. It wasn't like he was going a little bit crazy or to the extent of hate crimes.
And if he says something like kill somebody or molest a kid, then get him. You know what I mean? Even though you said you can't get a charge for that, I think then we should come up with a charge for that. If you go like an attempted molestation, like shit, get him. You know what I mean? He just said
that's
he's
a little
bit.
But that's that's a bit. It's one thing. See, but that's the thing though. A lot of these cancellations aren't coming from the majority of them. They're not getting banned because they're saying
right.
They're not.
That's my point.
They're not doing the crime. They're shutting these people down just because they got an opinion.
Yeah.
Whether you like the opinion or not, I'm not even sitting up here saying like I like his opinion. I've been I think he's full of shit in a lot of his stuff he says. Like he does. I think a lot of people. There are people who can make good points. There's people who I vehemently disagree with who make a good point.
Like Trump?
Yeah. Like I'm like, there's things he said, and I'm like, man, that's a good point. There's people that can do that. That does not mean that at that point everything that you've said is gold.
Correct.
And I think we kind of get in that lane as far as social media. It's this very black and white. You're on one side or the other. You know, especially when it comes to politics.
Red or blue.
You know, like you got to pick. Yeah. And it's like, no, there's some things from the conservative side that I like, and there's some things from the progressive side and the liberal side that I like.
Well, what you're
so
saying,
I pick and choose.
It kind of ties hand in hand with the situation with the Manti Te'o situation. How do you feel about the person who was catfishing Manti Te'o with obviously his most recent documentary that just came out with Netflix? I mean, it almost kind of coincides hand in hand, right?
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it, but I was understanding that, you know, she did portray, or he or they you know, portray themselves
however what a pronoun they feel like.
You know, whatever that may be. I want to make sure I'm politically correct,
in that moment,
right?
Or that day.
Right.
Or that hour.
But in general, you know, like, you know, in that documentary, she is portrayed as someone who's come out, and, you know, it helped her come out. But in the aspect of helping her /him/they, whatever that is, come out, you hurt and tarnish someone else's mindset, career, livelihood.
Do y'all even remember like Manti Te'o? Like just before we get into it,
I remember him in Notre Dame, and then I forget about the whole Charger stint, and then I remember him for the Saints.
Right.
That's that. I remember him in Notre Dame, and then the
Do you
Saints.
remember the memes? I remember the memes were bad.
Oh yeah, they went crazy.
That's the thing I do remember about that whole thing. I do remember him being a football player in Notre Dame. He was killing it.
Yeah.
Right.
He was really killing it because I was watching college football back then, and I remember Notre Dame was trash for a long time, and then he got on the team, and that I think that was his senior year, right?
Yeah,
senior year,
yeah.
he was crazy. He was probably one of the best linebackers out there on the field.
Middle backer, yeah.
And you could see it, and they got in the national championship game. They got killed though by Alabama.
Right.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people were though.
Right.
But he got them back to like prominence, like back to relevancy and stuff like that. So I remember that, and it was unique. You know, it was a Polynesian player. There's not a lot of, you know, not that many players. Like Troy Polamalu is like one of the most, probably the best
Iconic.
out of all of them that's known.
Yeah.
So it's not a ton. So when you see a player like that of a different ethnicity, like you be paying attention. So I remember him, but I just remember the memes. Like they say, "Oh, I'm Manti Te'o," and it'd be holding his hand, and nobody be there. They was making fun of him. Like it was so much stuff. Like I remember that was circulating, but I feel like so much got lost in the shuffle because, you know, all we hear, you know, when we're seeing it as it's happening, we're just kind of like, we only see what's put in front of us. We don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And I feel like this documentary, because I literally just,
I think it helped him.
I literally absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, for him it helps his story, and I'm glad that it got put out, and I'm glad he agreed to do it because it cleared up a lot of stuff about him, because this, like I said, circulation. Just what was being talked about. There was so many different narratives being pushed.
Speak about the narrative that is pushed, because there's a lot of people out there who are listening and like, what are you talking about, Manti Te'o? What was?
Well, there was even questions of his, like, so basically it was a situation, it was a catfish. He's basically victim of probably one of the best catfish performances in the history of catfish. Like, this was before catfish was really a thing.
Yeah,
Back in 2013.
MTV owes him some royalties because I believe his situation is what started the show.
Yeah, it's absolutely probably one of the biggest, like, when you read it and when you listen to it, you're just like, man, how did he really fall for this? And basically, you know, he's online talking to supposedly another woman that, you know, he connected with and basically never met, and it basically his grandmother died.
How many years? Like what, 2-3 years?
It was a short span. It wasn't a long, super long span. I think it was about a year or two. Somewhere around that. I could be off.
Haven't really physically seen the person,
Right.
video chatted with the person, but been in love with enough to where you spoke about it.
Right.
in an interview on national TV.
Yeah, to call them your girlfriend,
right?
Somebody you've never met,
right?
And I think it was that, and then he on national TV. His grandmother really died in real life, and then I guess
damn, it's sad you got to say she really died in real life.
Right, it's sad I got to say that because then his girlfriend, supposedly at the time, his girlfriend, that person he was talking to, had died within 24 hours of that time period of his grandmother's died. So he dedicated. He basically had a really great game. I forget what game he played, but he had a real great game. It was on national TV, and he dedicated that game to them because they had just he had lost both of them.
10 tackles, like 2 for a loss, 2 tackles for
interception,
a loss,
I think.
2 interceptions.
Yeah, he really balled out.
I forget what game it was.
I forget who they were playing. It might have been USC. If maybe I'm off, but I just
it's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
I was I ain't gonna lie, I was frustrated with the show.
Right.
I was frustrated, but like I said,
what were you frustrated about?
So Tony just talked about it. He said that this was good for him, and it absolutely is, 100%. It clears his name up because one of the things.
Still think he's an idiot.
Because it's 95. It's 95% the fault of the person that was doing what they were doing, being the catfish. Is 5% his. And the only reason why I give him 5% because a lot of people say that's still kind of small, bro. This was the most elaborate catfish I've ever seen. But the reason is that I think that really helps him because there was so many different narratives that being pushed around. It was hard to keep up. One of them was his own sexuality. There were a lot of people saying he was hiding that he was gay.
He's still
like that was like there was something like that. Speak on it, Warren.
He's still
speak on it.
I just don't see how you can call someone your girlfriend you've never seen.
Yeah,
he
knew
that's crazy. That's my girlfriend. Nope, it's my girlfriend. Like that's.
I'm telling you, Warren, because you haven't watched it, right? No, you gotta watch it.
You
gotta watch it. You'll probably change your opinion on it. Just say because I'm one of those people that kind of. I didn't know if he was or not, but it was one of them like, okay, if it came out that he was, I wouldn't have been shocked.
Right.
Now after watching the documentary that I saw, I can tell. If you watch the show, y'all, I'm giving a little bit of spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, so what? Pause this, go watch that. But I think the person that was catfishing him took advantage of his loneliness. He was a fish out of water. Basically grew up in Hawaii, Polynesian family, a different culture, and then chose to go to Notre Dame because he felt like God was saying that he needed to go there. And that's a complete opposite in weather, people, society, laws, everything, culture, everything's different.
Very true.
Everything. Everything's changing. So he's there by himself. He's it's only him. He feels like he's just by himself. So he's in a vulnerable spot to where someone who's, I guess you would say, of the same culture as him messages him on a website that he really don't have access to the same people. He felt like that might have been the only person he could connect with. So just that part, I can understand. I still think it's foolish because, Tony, as you was going to go into it, there's a point. Like, I think every man could have been victim or subjected to what he just went through. Every man could have went through that and been duped. It just depends on how long you was gonna be duped.
Right.
See, me, it would have been 1 week, maybe less.
Said 1 week.
It might have been a day or two. But the next man, it might have been a month, been 2 months him.
How was you gonna get out of that? Let me see them titties. Let me see them titties.
Oh no, but it would have been. I think there would just been way more questions.
It depends what them dudes looking
way
like.
more questions.
You got a landing strip, straight bald eagle.
Facts.
You got the full-grown bush.
That's hella true.
Let me see that Snapchat.
I need to see that.
Send that shit.
I need to.
That's facts, though.
I need the snatch facts.
Have any of y'all ever hooked up with someone like this? Not talking like Tinder, but I'm talking like straight up online. Where like, let me build a relationship online before you even met them, though. Like that's crazy.
I mean,
back in the AOL days,
a whole relationship.
But
the
there's a
difference
difference,
is.
I think, with building
That's
a
the
relationship.
difference.
You could be talking to someone and having back and forth conversation without meeting someone, but it's different when you're building a relationship. But it all depends on the loneliness. When people is lonely, man, they do certain things.
Facts. That's
so
facts.
and I think what's just surprising with him is because he's supposed to exemplify leadership.
Yeah.
Especially in a sport that he plays, that you have to be as disciplined as you possibly can. That's why I really feel like he dropped in the draft, because they were like, how did you get duped? Regardless, if we take your word for face value, which Notre Dame did, because he came forward and told them what was going on before everything really came out. Right. They just said, don't release anything yet. We're going to see how we're going to play this first. That's what went down.
They looked at the film like, man, you're acceptable for the play action.
Right. That's basically
he's a leader of the D.
They was like, hold on, you could be duped.
He's trying to lead him to the D.
Somebody.
You gonna bite off this?
You gonna be like, hold on, what you thought? Oh, my bad. You thought it was cover 2?
Right. Goodness gracious.
Dang. Nah, I would be shocked, but then you was talking to somebody you never met for 2 years.
Yeah, but still, just talking to them. Like, I played online games, for a big portion of my life, and
mobile games. And
I've when you're online talking to them, I've had supposed girls. I still don't know, but they were talking to me and just like, oh my God, I like who you are, this and that. At that time it was like MySpace and this and that, and I'm just like,
good old MySpace.
Right. We're meeting on a game. I'm like, I'm not gonna talk to you. Like, that's just weird. I just always thought it was weird. Like, you could be a dude.
Rest in peace to that social platform.
Jesus, right? Oh my God.
What's crazy is
we was all computer programmers.
Hey,
back then.
did you not? I remembered fucking back then just being proud of my fucking page and my fucking song.
You had your song, your background. It was who you were.
Right.
That was who you were. That was literally that was your resume.
Right.
HTML.
This is what, and you know how many fights started because who was in your top 8 or top 10, whatever it was.
Right.
Like, I ain't in your top. So some sensitive motherfuckers.
Yes.
Sensitive ass motherfuckers.
Still the same way.
I was like,
that thing started shit.
I want to know, because this catfish situation, it's really happening more common. They have shows about it on MTV. It's obviously happening and it's coming out, right? And how does that translate to the night scene? How does that, I know that I have seen. How do you see real life catfish? You see real? Is that even? Am I even? What'd you say?
Troglodytes.
What the fuck?
That's a troglodyte.
That's a
new one for me.
No, troglodyte. I know that is a word. Warren, that is a real word.
What the fuck was that?
That's isn't that just like a boring person or something like that?
Shit.
Somebody that got no life.
I ain't trying to get us canceled, but I'll tell you after the show.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck?
That was a lot in one right there. I was like, oh, that's a new slango.
Dang.
But I say it this way because I know that the club that I used to work at had a
Warren used a school word.
Miss Murdy.
Miss Murdy. They had 2 distinguished, females that always came through every week. And, with me doing the IDs, I obviously seen one of the IDs. And, obviously I put 2 and 2 together. Had no problem with it. They come in all the time. They come in every week, and obviously I don't ever really care. I don't say anything. You be you. You do you. Be happy about it. But obviously other security guards in the club and in the industry, when you walk inside, you do your lap around. You walk, you see, you want to make sure your guards are on duty. Make sure you're watching this. This is what I heard. Check for that. You know what I mean? You see them in their natural habitat, and I just so happen to catch them.
Natural habitat.
Natural habitat.
Like you're watching Nat Geo.
Yeah, man. When from seeing them outside and seeing what I know, and then seeing them inside, and these guys is all over them, dancing, kissing, slopping, and once again,
just hit me.
Once again, do you, do you? But in my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, I wonder if you told them what I know, who knows? And the other guards will obviously come up to me like, I can't believe this is happening. Should we tell them? Should we tell them? Should you tell them? And I'm like, man, look, man, if they're happy, they're happy. Let them do them. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I'm like, dang, I wonder if they did tell them.
Well, that's not your place.
It ain't.
I'm gonna be clear.
It ain't. I never cared.
It's not your place.
Right. But just seeing,
I will say this before we go into it.
The Manti Te'o situation.
I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna say something. I don't really give a damn. When I watched this video, because Tony,
in the confession room at church, I didn't tell him.
I didn't tell him. Lord, I have sinned today. Not tell somebody they didn't disclose.
Oh my
what's
God.
under the hood.
But it ain't my place either.
No,
but,
it's not your place. It's not your place. But with this thing, I'm gonna say this because I watched the whole thing. You haven't seen it all. Mm-hmm. I think you've seen portions of it. You said
I just saw the first. I thought it was only 1 hour.
Y'all two haven't seen it at all, right? Yeah. When you watch it, what you said is absolutely true. Mm-hmm. To me, Manti Te'o is vindicated in this. He is definitely, a lot of stuff gets cleared up, and this was a good thing for him. So I'm happy that he's getting his shit cleared up and he can move on and with his life and stuff like that, and make sure that the right narrative is actually out there about him, right? Mm-hmm. So I think this is a good thing to watch for that point. This is the other part though. Fuck that person. They tried to make you sympathetic for this person who did this, and I'm gonna say it, and I don't really care. It's because they was transgender. Mm-hmm. They tried to make us sympathetic because they were transgender. Because if this was a non-transgender person, you know how Catfish is, the show. Mm-hmm. They don't make you sympathetic to that person that does the wrong shit, that's pretending to be somebody else. They don't. Right. They say, no, you a bad person. You was wrong for this. That you messed up this person's life. You caused this, and this. They held him accountable. Yeah. They don't even hold him accountable.
No.
In this show.
It was almost like a way for them to come out.
Right.
I was like, whoa.
It was like your announcement party. You use this platform that's supposed to be for Manti Te'o's really getting his story out. Mm-hmm. It was really two stories. Like, in all honesty, it was split down the middle. It was him getting his narrative out about what really happened, getting a lot of the stuff that was said about him, and saying that he might have been homosexual, or that he had that was the other thing in it, that was the other biggest thing, Warren, was that he had a hand in it, in the whole charade that happened, the whole hoax. That's not true either. He had absolutely no clue what was going on. But they really centered this show also on this person coming out about being transgender, because if you watch the show, he wasn't transgender. They weren't transgender. They hadn't transitioned at the time that they was having the conversation with Manti Te'o and others. He wasn't the only one. Just when y'all watch it, I felt like they really just did that because of his sexual orientation, of their sexual orientation.
But how sorry do you feel for Manti Te'o? Because I really don't feel sorry for him.
I feel bad. I feel bad for him in the sense of that how it affected his career.
It technically wrecked his career.
And how it messed up his life. Now he has to take responsibility and accountability for himself. I'm not gonna lie, if y'all watch the show, like I said, this spoilers. If you're watching this, I'm giving away some stuff. I'm not telling the whole thing, but I'm giving away some stuff. There was a scene with it, because they was interviewing his family too, and his dad was even like mad, like, hold on, what? You ain't met this? He had that reaction. He had that reaction.
That's where I'm coming from.
But so I think that's accurate for somebody who's in a normal circumstance. And when you watch the show, how it goes, you understand, like I said, the fish out of water part. The fact that he was alone out there in South Bend, not talking to I can understand his mental part being susceptible. I'm not excusing it being for 2 years.
Yeah, the foolery got to end at
that point. No, that's why I told you.
Know what I'm saying?
I said every man is gonna fall for this at one point.
Like
it just matters. It matters how long.
You would have fell for a week.
Yeah, but in his situation,
maybe not even that. Maybe a few days.
So in his situation, because my girl said, it's funny, we were talking about this. She said the same thing. Like, how serious is that? Him going to Notre Dame? It's actually extremely serious, because where he was from, it was LDS. Now I come from a town that is LDS and / Catholic, and it is like. Right. You guys don't have this here in this city. The war that's happening still today over there. And I'm talking about every single day, from walking in somewhere, and if someone realizes that you're not LDS, well, you might not get that discount that day. You know what I mean? Like, it's that serious, where like it's a religious war out there. So he goes from somewhere where everyone is LDS to where Notre Dame is a Catholic school. Bro, the beef there and the way he probably feels, he's secluded by himself.
But Polynesians are real religious, though. I don't think a lot of people know that.
No, they are.
They are super religious.
No, but that's the thing though. His faith is so strong. That's what even
it was opposite. It was an opposite faith. It's Catholic,
right? Bro, and he chose to go there. He should have went to USC.
Yeah,
like when you watch the documentary, he had the choice.
Yeah, to go anywhere.
And it was the 3 schools. It was UCLA.
Some dude told him, "Why don't you go into this school?"
Right. Like, everybody was saying though he should have went to USC.
He was like, "God told me." And I'm like, "No, that dude told you."
But he even admitted in the documentary that he felt that he was making the wrong decision when he said it. He said it. Yeah, he said it in the show. He felt like he was making the wrong decision. Even when he did, he just felt like because his faith was so strong in God that he felt that
God told him
was telling him to go.
The Notre Dame.
So that's what I'm saying. Like
some
I said,
dude told him.
I agree with you. He has responsibility. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. But to the person that was doing the bullshit,
I agree.
Fuck them.
Right.
I agree.
Okay.
Straight up like that. I don't give a fuck what you got going in your life. Right. I don't care how you've transitioned. I don't care that you've taken on a new light on the world. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You fucked up this man's life. And many others, too.
What you think about Dr. Phil?
Oh, that shit was funny as hell. Dr. Phil's face on that shit in this doc, I'm telling y'all need to watch this.
When he walked in, they didn't even show his face. He just walked. You just see.
And I was like, it was a good setup because I was like, who about to sit down? Who about to sit down? And then when this doctor, I was sitting with me and my girl was watching. I said, who about to sit down? I said, hold on, they got Dr. Phil in this? I said, it's got real.
And he's like, when they were getting his analysis of his voice, and he was just like, there is a 1 in 10 million chance that is you.
And it was his face when so the person, like I said, spoilers, if y'all didn't listen, too bad. God. But they basically, it was a point in the documentary where he said they thought that other people were involved. Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't just him. Like you had to have another woman because they were talking on the phone.
Right. Mm-hmm. And he was sending messages kind of simultaneously.
He was solo bolo. I'm going to tell you this right now. This man, because Dr. Phil said, well, you got to prove it. He said, because we don't believe that this is you on these voicemails. And nothing. Because the voicemails because Manti Te'o actually put the voicemails out.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like a very feminine woman. Mm-hmm. No cap.
Yeah. He had to go do it out to he couldn't do it in front of the
No, Dr. Phil said, well, prove it. And he said, it's kind of like, I can't just do it like that. It's kind of like method acting. So he went behind like this, like a divider or a curtain or something like that. Man, he sounded like complete opposite of their voice.
But come on, the tomfoolery got to stop at some point.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
On, man.
But you got to have
a gullible.
But you got to agree. But I think he got caught at a weak point. I think most people that's more strong-willed. I think more people that's, especially somebody that's at the collegiate level in football, I don't think fall for that, and it goes that far.
But how weak are you? I mean, you're on Notre Dame. You're like top 3 in the nation. Facts. I mean, you're the star of the football team. You got females at Notre Dame all over.
But that's part of his faith, though. His faith don't have him.
But
do
his
that.
faith is to meet a girl online and have this long distance relationship.
But it's somebody that was feeding into a lot. I'm telling you, when you watch the documentary,
what she was saying,
like I guess you would say resonated with him more than anything. It was basically like he wasn't in Notre Dame. It was almost like he felt like they made him feel like he was back home.
But this would resonate with you guys for 6 months, 3 months?
No, not me.
Right.
No.
Tony?
Right. I'm telling you this right now. It's not going to apply to every person.
Right.
I feel like it's a unique situation with him. And I'm not excusing it. Like, bro, he should have known. He should have. However, much as I don't like this person, bro, that's impressive.
But the part where they were sitting there, I don't think it's that impressive. He's stupid because think of the part where they were doing the FaceTime. It's like, oh, my FaceTime's not working. How about you? The excuses they give. I'm like, oh, bro, at some point, the fuck.
No, agreed.
I'd have been like, bitch, get on Skype. Get on something.
Yeah.
Like, I see you talk.
That's what I'm saying.
I need to see them titties.
Oh, my God.
Right? I need to see it live. Yeah,
I need to see it live.
Because, I mean, you come fresh off the field. You have 10 tackles, 2 touchdowns, win the game-winning touchdown. Right. You got Molly Sue waiting by the locker room.
Right.
But think about it,
you
though.
You know what I'm saying?
So I think this only works at the time that it was happening. Because this was what, 2013?
2013.
So FaceTime had just came out.
Wasn't really hitting it.
It just came out. Like a lot of this stuff really, so like I said, I think we're looking at it from the lens if this happened like 2022.
Right.
Like you got to think 2013 FaceTime, it's probably common that FaceTime ain't working 100%. Like there's a lot of shit that
But Rob, he got fooled twice.
Yeah, the one with This is the reason why I say it's impressive. This is the reason why I say it's
twice.
This is the reason why I say it's impressive. This is the part. It was the part where he finally figured it out. He was like, "This is bullshit." This is bullshit. This is fake. No, I need to know who you are.
This is the second time you got duped.
I need you to send me a photo, and it says this, and you gotta be doing this, like putting up a certain. So the person that he's been faking the photos of, right? So he grabbed photos from another person. This is a real person in real life that he took these photos from. Does not know the person. He reaches out to this person because Manti Te'o's famous.
They reach out.
They reach out and say, "Hey, this is for Manti Te'o. It's basically for like a charity thing. If you would say this and do it exactly as he wanted," and she sent it to him, and then he sent it.
He got fooled again after she had died, and then all of a sudden now she's back to life.
Wow.
I'm telling you, you have to watch the shit. You gotta watch the shit.
Wow.
You gotta watch it. But
that's crazy.
But I wanna say about the catfish thing.
Let me see them zombie titties.
See them zombies.
So
see them zombie titties.
Trying to see back. Let me see them nips.
Came back from the death. I need to see them
with the About the Night logo on it.
Let me see.
I need 2 X's right here.
Oh my god,
covering them nips.
No, but you said it as far as the club, the catfish thing, right? So what do y'all think is a typical nightclub catfish for a man and a woman?
Go ahead, Tony.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
For a man and woman?
Yeah,
like a catfish. Because catfish is not.
Like you talking about a nigga putting a sock over his dick to make it bigger?
No.
Okay.
Oh, what? Well, that's like something.
Because girls,
that's something. That's Tony.
There is something.
Tony, you telling us a method you used to do?
There's something I used to do. So like, I used to go. If you go on Amazon, there's these like little fucking thing that you put on your feet to raise you up 2 inches.
Oh, I seen those. The little heel sock.
Yeah,
thing.
like a heel sock thing. So you're 2 inches
I
taller
seen that.
in your shoes.
That.
So I kind of did that. I was like, oh, I'm already big. Let me be big and tall. You know what I mean? Like just fucking like NBA tall. You know what I mean? Like just for a couple nights. But then it started making my shoes all funny and cricket, so I stopped doing it. But and then our boy Sal, he already short, but you had to get him. But
dang, you just gonna throw my nigga under the bus right now?
You ain't shit for that. You ain't shit for that.
I had to, bro. But
Shout out to Sal.
Shout out to my guy.
But they work. He liked it. They work. You know what I mean? So that could be, all of a sudden they go home and get into it, and all of a sudden he takes off his shoes. Next thing you know, niggas halfway up the bed, like, oh wait, what the fuck? Like,
so that's a good example. So what about with women? Oh no, well another one.
Everything about a woman, the fuck, like, bro, the waist trainer shit, the fucking caked on makeup shit, the fucking like hiding the acne, fuck. There's all kinds of shit that I'm like, what the fuck? Like, damn, you don't.
But
like that at all.
what's the line though on that? Because I don't know. Like makeup in general, I don't think it's catfish. I think
women are the masters of optical.
Hey. I won't say the name, but strong.
But I'm saying, and that's a fact. That's a fact. But
strong.
But what I'm saying is that I don't think, because a lot of men sometimes make that claim, and they try to say, okay, makeup is a catfish thing. I'm not gonna say that, but I think if you use makeup if you're a woman, you use makeup just to enhance your features. I don't think there's not, if it doesn't change who you look like.
There's something that we know it does change.
Because there's some Transformers out here.
Yeah.
There's some Transformers.
I'm like, whoa.
Like, no, for real. No. There's ones that's like you question what ethnicity they are.
Right.
Like, hold on, how you go from being a white woman to a black woman?
I seen that.
Like,
I seen it.
how did this happen? No, so that's true. What else? Like men with hats. That's
trying to hide the bald spots.
The ones that don't want to take their hat off.
Hide the bald spots.
I had that at Miss Smurdy one time. I had that. This dude, I ain't never seen somebody so adamant about not taking their hat off.
Right.
Like literally, like even the girl was in the club. She was trying to get this man. I don't know if it was her man, dick appointment. I don't know what it was, but she wanted him to come in. I'm standing out there, Ramon's out there, and he wouldn't let him in. It's like, no, you got to put your, the hat box. Gotta put your hat in the hat box.
Right.
And then we was all standing waiting for him. And he's like, man, why I got to take it on, man? No. I'm like, bro, put it in the box.
Yeah.
I said, you ain't getting in unless you put it in there. And he's like, man, they feel. I'm like, why you moving like that? Like just like
antsy.
What you want to do? And then they got to the point where the girl, because she comes out, she's like, why he ain't in? Why can't y'all let him in? I'm like, he don't want to take his hat off.
Revealed in patch.
And then she looked at him. She's like, take your hat off. And then he was all like, man, I ain't doing all that, and just walked off. I was like, God damn. I was like, hey, I look. You know what I said in my head? This is kind of fucked up. I'm like, damn, that pussy wasn't worth it. He was trying to what she had wasn't worth it. He didn't even want to take the hat off,
or he was trying to save it. You know, he didn't want to take the hat off because he was finna lose her.
What about a wig for women?
That's becoming more and more normal. I hate to say that. It is becoming more and more normal to where you can't even tell sometimes if they got a wig on or not. But
I'm not talking about extensions, but like a whole wig,
full on wig.
So what you talking about? They ain't got no hair. They rocking a baldy,
kind of a baldy, or
like
something
like a Michael Jordan.
Yeah, or something that looks funky, like just like
they rocking one of those, or
yeah, I don't know.
This nigga did the palm action. Like, Michael Jordan. Give me that shit.
It's hard to tell nowadays because now they blend that shit perfect.
Bitch, I'll be like, did I keep my receipt?
That horse hair.
I don't know. Wig. What y'all think? Y'all think a wig is?
I mean, you have to say it's a part of it.
Extensions? I don't think extensions
I don't think
are.
so.
No, not extensions. Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like not extensions, but
because that's enhancing. That's kind of I feel like it's normal makeup.
But if a man puts that on with makeup,
Well,
eyeliner.
You know what I'm saying? That's, I mean.
I ain't catfish. You just looking crazy out there.
Right.
No, I mean like these men that want to be women. You know what I mean? Like they put on an extension, cake up the makeup.
Oh well, that's a completely different thing. Like now you're going to, and I think that's the point I think you was trying to make when was about the whole catfishing as far as okay, you somebody who identifies as the opposite sex that you were born as. Is that a form of catfish? I don't even think that's the right word to even classify that situation. I'll be honest with you. That you just flat out lying. We ain't calling it catfish.
It ain't catfish lying. If
you're not telling somebody what it is, then you lying.
But then at the same time, once you tell somebody what it is, then nothing ever transpires. You know what I mean?
That's
that's
Bobby Valentino.
You can't go around and be like, hey, I'm really into you, but I got to let you know that I'm.
But that never happens, Whitten. That's the problem. Half the time they don't tell you what it is. You got to look at the Adams.
What were you talking about last time when it came to that? That it's a safety issue sometimes with that.
I think it's 100% a safety issue. I'm gonna tell you this right now, and this is because I want to protect human life. I'm gonna say it right now. You going around here and not disclosing what's going on and what's up under the hood, you gonna die. Like somebody is not going to be cool with that.
You won't die.
Like somebody, and I'm saying that with the most respect.
What if they have the job done though, like where they flipped it inside out and it's all like, you know what I mean?
You still need to disclose it though.
Really?
Because I'm saying that from the perspective of the other men. You don't know what those men are going to feel like after you told them after the fact.
What you think they should have to?
You won't get to after the fact. Well,
right. You think they should have to?
Because you don't never know. You know. So, man, there was a show.
Like, what if it's a girl that says, I had a bisectomy, so I can't get pregnant, but they still thinks it's a female, and they just keep going out like they're fine.
But no, that's what I'm saying. So like they don't have to have intercourse. They could just be doing.
They do have intercourse.
Foreplay.
But he's like, this feels different. I don't know why, but it feels different. But I like it. I keep it. You know, like what?
Well, that's you finding out something about yourself then.
Hey.
Hey, them one of the people. You should have been up front. They would have been all with it. And there's plenty.
No, they don't know. Here's my thing. They don't know.
I want to say this.
Hold on, they don't know.
There's plenty of guys. There's plenty of men out there that's all right with it. That's going.
No. Time out. They don't know. They still don't know. They still don't know.
No, I know that, but I'm saying that there are plenty of men out there that is going to rock with it.
No, they don't know.
I'm telling you that the ones that they disclose it, there's plenty of men out there that will.
Right.
If you told them, you'd be surprised.
But here's my question.
You'd be surprised.
Here's my question. Let's say
we was all shocked when Bobby Valentino.
Here's my question. Let's say
Cancun,
they're still doing it though.
Cancun.
Yeah. Here's a question. Let's say they're still doing it though. Like say for instance, they're still like how do I say this? Let's say, for instance, they don't know at all. The guy goes through, the girl's hiding it, or they are hiding it because they did the whole job, everything, and the guy's still doing it. He thinks he's with a woman. Like, you still think he should disclose it? She just says, I can't get pregnant.
She has a responsibility too, yeah.
Ooh,
they have a responsibility, or whoever he or she identifies themselves as, they have a responsibility. Gotcha. But either way it goes,
you know what it is,
and we can say it the opposite way too. If it's a woman, you need to disclose it to them. The only reason why I'm saying it is different with a man is if the man is the one that's in pursuit, is because men are violent creatures. We are violent.
I hope you able to beat her ass.
We are violent people. Yeah. People die when we get out of hand.
Right.
Like emotion, if we get emotional, people die. When a woman gets emotional,
niggas die every day.
It's like it's not, the damage is not as much. And so what I'm saying is on that is that for safety purposes, you need to do that.
The only reason why I say it is because what Winton was saying earlier. Winton was kind of saying like, well, almost like it's
I like how you put my name in your mouth right now. What did I say?
Why? Nigga, this ain't about us. We're talking about them.
Going.
What the fuck? Okay, anyways, when it comes to like these, what you said earlier, like she just can't go have a good time and then, just meet someone and be happy with them. Like maybe I just don't know. I don't know what it feels like. I think that I'm under the impression that when you get the job done, like that's it. Like you're a female completely, other than the fact that you can't get pregnant. So you would go in and it would feel like a female. The guy wouldn't know any better.
Oh, I think you're going a little bit
way too
detailed with it.
Over here,
so I'm not even at that point.
I'm literally imagine what a freaking
I'm literally saying from a
psychological
point, they didn't even have to have intercourse.
Well, then the only reason why I'm saying that is because what should the girl have to disclose that? Like, because that's a weird thing to say. Hey, by the way.
Well, no. They have a freedom. There's freedom of choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice not to disclose, and it's the choice to deal with the repercussions if you don't disclose.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Choices out here.
I just feel bad for them. Like they got to run around like, hey, by the way. I'm like, oh shit, that sucks. You have to do that your whole life.
No, but it's a safety issue.
Like, damn, you paid 20, 30 grand to get that done, so you wouldn't have to do that, and now you have to like.
No, but I think you're making it where if it's, and I don't want to get so detailed with the situation as far as if the person has fully transitioned and all of that. I'm talking about in general, just being general, courtesy. You should be disclosed. Like that's what you should be doing.
At what point? At what point?
100%
the beginning.
The beginning.
Like you're just dancing in the club, boom, and then some guy's like, yeah, okay, what's up, baby girl? Yeah, and then you're like, hold on one second, I'm feeling you right now, but I'm they.
No, I'm not saying at that point. I'm saying
when do you
the point where you feel like it's going to go beyond that, where it's going to get intimate. You need to. Saying it for
before it gets intimate.
And I say this because
before that.
And I'm
being honest. So we're on the dance floor.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So I know we're all joking about it, but I'm in actuality I am being serious about the situation, and I'm saying this also. And you guys are laughing about the safety part. I'm saying it for a safety reason. There are transgender people who have been hurt and killed for these situations, and I actually feel sorry for them because they had to lose their life. Because information was not disclosed. They should say that. But for their own safety. Not because they should be made to because they're going through a transition and that's discrimination toward them. They should do that for their own protection. It's the same concept. I'm going to do it from the same concept. This is the same thing. If I had my daughter, if she goes through, and it's not their fault. This is the thing. If a transgender person gets killed or gets hurt by somebody who does that, it's not their fault. It's the man's fault. He's going to go down for murder or whatever, or assault or whatever it is. And he should be prosecuted.
Crime of passion.
But that's what's going to happen. Right. It doesn't matter. You don't want to, it's not about prosecuting them. It's about preventing it from happening in the first place. I give you the perfect example. If I had my daughter, it's not smart for you. So let's say you had a woman walking down the street in skimpy clothes, in a place where there's all men.
Hey, yo, Ma was good.
I'm gonna say this.
What your name is?
And if somebody goes through the great process or does something, some type of sexual assault, who's at fault? the man. 100%. There is no equivocation to it. At the same time, it was not smart of you to go down there with barely any clothes on. They both can be true. Just no difference of me going. If I went to a bad neighborhood with a whole bunch of money, waving a whole bunch of money around, and I get jumped and beat up, who's at fault for beating me up? The ones who beat the ones that beat me up.
You antagonized.
No, I didn't antagonize it. It's still my right to do that, but it was stupid of me to do that.
That's tough.
Just like it would be not smart of you not to disclose what's going on when you engage with someone like that.
That's tough, though. I mean, let's say a man.
It's no different.
So let's say he meets a girl, but it's really a guy, and then time progresses. He ends up sleeping with the guy that looks like a woman.
Right.
You're saying that's 100% the man's fault, even she never disclosed that she was born a man.
It's 100% his fault if he takes it there.
If he assaults her or kills her.
Right.
Yes.
Then it's 100% his fault.
100%.
Right.
But he's been lied to.
Doesn't matter. It's still 100% his fault. The reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is not because it's about distributing fault. The fault lays at the feet of the person committing the crime. I want to prevent the crime from happening in the first place.
Who committed the crime, though?
He did.
Let's go back to that's not a crime.
She lied about her sexuality.
Yeah, but
that's not a crime. But that's not a crime. Just like the last thing with the pedophilia, it's not a crime.
Yeah, but that don't give you a right to. That don't give you a right to kill him. I'm not saying that that's.
But there's consequences to shit.
I'm not saying that. I'm not excusing that part. I think we getting something misconstrued thinking that's okay. I'm not saying that's okay. I'm telling you it's gonna happen. There's gonna be bodies on the ground.
There's consequences
if you're not doing this. That's what it is. I'm not saying it's okay. Right. I'm not saying it should happen to you. I'm not saying that you deserve it, but it's gonna happen. That's what's going to happen. Like these things, and they're documented. This has happened. This is not like hyperbole. I'm not talking crazy. This what does happen.
What would you do in that situation, Rob?
What do you mean? I wouldn't be in that situation.
Oh, come on. What would you do if you were in that situation,
hypothetically?
Rob? But I wouldn't be in that situation.
Okay, don't make me ask you, Rob. I've asked you before. Don't make me ask you.
You asked me.
Okay. Right now, I want you, and don't answer honestly. Let's say, for instance, remember this was who were you obsessed with 7 years ago? Like Anna Cherie or something on Instagram. You said it was the most beautiful woman on Instagram, right? That's who it was. So you're like, this is the most beautiful woman. My God, this and that. I would do anything. Blah blah.
Attractive woman. Got it.
Perfect. So I'm like, okay, so you would fuck her, right? If she came up to you. So here's my thing. So let's say, for instance, all of a sudden, God just came down and he took her soul out and took my soul out and switched us. And now I'm in there.
Fuck. You already fucked it up.
Hold on.
You fucked it up.
Hold on.
You had me for 2 seconds, bro. 2 seconds. I was there.
Now I'm inside her body.
I'm following you.
I'm inside her body, and I walk up to you and I say, and it's her voice. Everything, and I go, fuck me, Rob. And all of a sudden you're like, all right, that's what's up.
Nope, it don't even make sense.
And all of a sudden I go, hold on, whoa, time.
You're getting fucked for your own pleasure at that point in time.
Hold on, nigga.
Okay?
Damn,
that's what this sounds like.
Hold on.
This guy.
Nigga. Let's say it's Winton. And he's in there.
Hey, what did you tell Rob, man? Let's go pee.
Okay. Listen, let's take me out of the equation since you wanna act like these. You keep thinking that this is about us.
Okay,
nigga,
bro,
hold on.
So wait a minute.
There's a badass female.
Wait a minute.
Listen, let me finish.
Wait a minute.
You haven't let me finish.
No, I get where you was going with it. I get where you're going.
Let me finish. So, it's Winton's soul, all right, inside of this Anna Cherie. And now his soul's inside this woman, and she's still talking to you normal. You hear the voice, everything. You're like, oh, I finally get to fuck her. All of a sudden, Winston goes, hey, nigga, it's me. Hey, Mr. Murdy, it's me. You know what I mean? He's right before, you're like, God damn it, you still not fucking?
Right before?
Nigga, no.
Hell no.
No.
What? What kind of question? You waited all that to do all that?
That's what I'm saying. He was the one who was basically getting fucked. For one, if you switched into the body, why would you want to continue with fucking him?
Bro, it's not about that. It's about asking if
No. I get what
the question he's asking. Listen again, because you're not following. He asked him if it happened to you, almost as if Rob's saying it would never happen to me. But in that situation, you wouldn't fuck Anna Sharif?
You would have been better off saying. You would have been better off saying, "Yo, Rob,
because
if your
that's
girl
not my choice.
told you like 10 months later that she was a guy, how would you feel?"
Time out.
That's how you should have went about the question. This whole
hold on,
switching
time out.
body shit.
Okay, I'm gonna just talk. Listen. So let's say, for instance, I didn't say that, and I said, okay. Instead of saying it before, let's say we had sex, and then afterwards I'm like, it's me. You know what I mean? Like,
but you're throwing in a scenario just to try to justify the action because now the action's already happened. Like,
but isn't that what he was asking though? Didn't you say like, what if it happened to you?
Yeah.
But that's the whole point.
You said it wouldn't.
I would never be in that type of situation. I would not be in that situation.
But let's think hypothetically you're in a position.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
So you're trying to just basically say
it happened
beyond my thought,
right?
My own instincts, and I'm just in it.
That's why I said it happened.
And it happened to you.
That's why I explained it like that.
And basically,
like, bro, nigga, it already happened.
I went
it's
all
me.
the way.
You don't fuck me.
Like,
so I
can
say this. I do not know if I could control my emotions. I will put it that way. Let's just put it that way.
Great way.
I do not know if I could.
Yeah.
But it would be me or Winton. It'd be like, hey, we're just fucking around, nigga. Like, fuck.
But you went through.
I'm trying not to incriminate myself on camera.
So you might catch a body. You might get a tattoo of a tear.
I don't know where my emotions is gonna take me in that moment.
I respect that, Rob.
Tony,
100%.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense,
Damn,
but don't make sense as a fact. Anyways, I definitely want to take some time to thank you guys so very much for tuning into this wild episode 36, man. You're rocking with the crew. Warren, Rob, Tony, Winton, thank you guys so very much. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and stay tuned in each and every week. Yeah, that egg. If you were fucking in another body, what kind of fucking question was that?
Because
bro?
he was asking him
Bro,
if it happened to you.
You were still going through with the thought process of fucking your own boy.
No,
regardless.
I didn't say you're gonna lick my titty and then go to the clit and then we're gonna fucking be doggy and then we're gonna fucking